Chapter 18. Noah POV. Everything around me turned dark. The sky was suddenly filled with dark clouds, and the lightning struck to the ground many times. The wind picked up tremendous speed, knocking everyone to the ground. I groaned and covered my nose as I looked at Veronica. She was on her knees, and she was trembling. Her eyes were glowing blood red, and her body was marked with strange writings. The writing was more visible than the other time I saw her. It was bright red, like charcoal and fire. A strange red beam of light swirled around her, making her look even more fierce and scary. Papa, Papa, she kept chanting as she clenched her dress, staring at her father with white tears-filled eyes. I slowly got up and made my way to King Azivir. The wind was making it difficult, and I had to build up resistance using my power. But my power broke midway as I fell on my knees, feeling tired and weak. Noah, I heard Azivir call as I looked at him shocked. King Azivir, I called as he looked at me in worry. He caught blood as my eyes widened. Let me take you to the hospital, I said as I tried to go to him. Shit, if I could just reach you. I cursed as the surrounding was filled with resistance formed by Veronica. The demons around seemed to be affected by it the most. They were on the ground, growling and groaning in pain. Their body glowed red, as if they're feeling a huge resistance imposing them. No, stop her. Stop Veronica. She's getting out of control, he said as I looked at Veronica. I nodded at him before trying my best to get closer to her. Veronica, stop, I said. But she didn't listen to me. Her eyes, by now, looked blank and void. I built up resistance around me once more, and with difficulty, finally made it to her. Stop, I said, as I grabbed hold of her hand. But it only made her increase the power tenfold, throwing me away. The wind picked up more, and it was even difficult for me to stand up. Please stop, stop, I shouted as I kept trying to get up. My papa, she said. She stood up and walked to him. Papa, she said as she fell on her knees before hugging him tightly. I knew he was dead by the way his hand dangled lifelessly. Papa, wake up, please, she cried, breaking my heart. Suddenly, fire burst around her, glowing with a wave to energy. It was so powerful that it knocked me to the tree behind me. I groaned and opened my eyes, but it widened as I saw all the demons in the air struggling. You imbeciles! Veronica's voice rose, but it was different. It was darker and filled with anger. Her voice echoed around as thunder struck right behind her. She rose in the air, her body now glowing so red it lit the entire sky. Her eyes were shining even more bright, so was the marking in her body. How dare you take him away from me? How dare you take away my only family? How dare you? She shouted as the demons struggled to clench their necks for air. Veronica, stop! I shouted again, but she didn't react as she stared at them. She raised her hand in the air and the demons rose higher to the sky. That's when I saw it. It was not just the demons around us, but all the ones who attacked us. Hundreds of demons now filled the air, each and every one of them struggling to breathe. You all will pay, each and every one of you, she shouted as she glowed more red. Suddenly a wave of energy released her body, going in all directions. My eyes widened as the demons screamed as they got vaporized by the power she released. The power passed through me, but it didn't have any effect. I only felt a wave of nausea and a slight dizziness. The power suddenly died down, and the clouds disappeared. The moon was now shining bright in the sky, and the wind became calm. I watched how Veronica's eyes turned back to her usual gold ones as the body mocked and healed. My eyes widened as she closed her eyes before falling to the ground. Vera! I screamed as I ran to catch her. My leg was injured badly, and I was so slow, I knew I wouldn't reach her, so I used the last of my energy to cast a protection spell around her. My vision started to go in and out, But I shook my head as I controlled the bubble, slowly bringing it to the ground. Once she reaches the ground, a spell broke as I fell on my knees. I wanted to go to her. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to see if she was okay. But my body was too weak, my vision was blurry, and I couldn't breathe. My body fell aslant on the ground, and I curled into a ball. My body was on fire. I feel my body tense up at a weird foreign feeling. I suddenly felt lightweight. I felt myself lifting from the ground. What is happening? Why do I feel like I'm being lifted to the air? Don't panic. We just need to talk to you. A soothing male voice echoed in my head as a warm hand touches my forehead. Chapter 19. Noah POV. My eyes snapped open to meet with a white ceiling lined with gold designs. I frowned as I got up and looked around. It looked like some kind of throne room. The walls around me were white, swollen, lined with gold beams. One side was open to the outside, and it showed a view of an ocean. It looked calm, and the sound of waves was like pure melodies echoing through the room. Welcome, Prince Noah. A voice came from behind. I looked around, confused, but my eyes widened as they landed on a person. A man, to be exact. He was in a white dress with a brown ribbon wrapped in his torso. He had a pure white long beard and long hair. His eyes were brownish black, but it had a sense of warmth and comfort as he looked at me with love and pride. You turned into a fine man, Prince Noah, he said as I looked at him in awe. Even his voice was soothing and gentle. We made the right choice. Another voice came from behind. I turned around shocked to find another man just as beautiful as the one in white. This man had a brownish gold skin and he wore black harem pants with a gold white waistband. He had a short wrap from his right shoulder to his left hand and also had black jewelry with gold tear-shaped pendants. What attracted me most was the headband. It was also black with gold tear-shaped pendant, but they were glowing brightly. I liked the warm and homely look of the man in white clothes. His eyes were stern, bright gold with tints of color changing. Who are you both? I asked as he walked past me, stood next to the man in white. I'm God, the creator of the living on earth, the man in white said as my eyes widened. And I'm Vamir, the Lord and creator of the living terrain, the other said as I looked at them shocked. I immediately went on my knees and bowed in respect. My lords, I said as they chuckled. Raise my son. He grew up to be a brave and strong warrior king like your father, he said with proud eyes. You can be and is with us, Noah, God said as I nodded and stand up. With all due respect, my lords, why am I here? I asked as they gave me a sad smile. Our brother is the problem, Lord Vamir said as God nodded sadly. Brother? I asked as he nodded. Yes, the devil, he said as my eyes widened. But isn't he destroyed? I asked, remembering the history lessons I learned. No, he was not destroyed completely. He has traces of himself being scattered everywhere. He grew from them. He fell in love with a woman. She refused him and killed herself, but devil brought her back, he said as my eyes widened. Veronica? I asked as he shook his head. No, her mother, Noah, God said as I looked at them shocked. What? I asked as he smiled sadly. Noah, there are a lot of things you don't know about Veronica or her family, but don't worry, you won't be in the dark for long. She will need your support and love. You are the only one left for her, the only one who will be able to control her, Lord Vamir said as I nodded. Yes, no matter what happens, don't let her fall into the hands of the devil. She is too valuable for the existence of life, God said. I won't, I said as I smiled with prideful eyes. Darkness is spreading around, Prince Noah. The devil has risen, and this time he is stronger. The only one who can destroy him is you and Veronica. He said as my eyes widened. Me and Veronica? I asked, shocked, as he nodded. Yes, only you both can. Light alone cannot destroy him, nor can darkness. But combined you both are powerful. But beware, Veronica's darkness is not something that is born out of ordinary. Who not only has demon and dark wizard blood, but something much worse. There is something living inside her. Something dark and torturous. Something that devil wants to be released. He said as I looked at them worried. What is it? I asked as he gave me a sad smile. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you that, but only you can stop it from engulfing her. He said as I sighed. How can I stop it if I don't know what it is? I said, frustrated. You will know when the times come. Just believe in your instincts. Remember that she loves and trusts you the most. Never let her out of your sight. Lose her, and it will be the end of their existence. Lord Vamir said. She doesn't love or trust me. She runs away. I said, sighing. She does love you, Noah. She was just scared. Fear took over her. He said as I nodded. Do not forget who you are. You are the son of the strongest wizard king and the strongest human elder and queen. You have both their blood. The blood of the chosen ones of both the earth and terrain. Of both mine and Lord Vamir's creation. Don't get discouraged. God said as I nodded. This is a sword of the creators, powerful enough to defeat and kill the devil. Lord Vamir said as the sword appeared in front of me. It was a beautiful red blade with a gold handle beautifully designed. Use it to kill the devil. But remember, you have only one chance to strike. If you miss, you will fail. He said as I gulped and nodded. I raised my hand to touch the sword as I looked at them. They nodded in courage, and I took a deep breath before touching the sword. As soon as my hand made contact with it, it vaporized, and I felt the aura center my body making me feel stronger. It's been too long you have been held here by us. You should go back to your terrain. Your family is worried. He said, as my surroundings suddenly started to blurry. I closed my eyes as I felt dizziness take over. My head ached, and I groaned as my pain increased.